Hello and welcome to another episode of TrekHammer, where we're talking about Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 2, Episode 4, Among the Lotus Eaters. This was an interesting one. It's more character building, which is great, and it's about different characters to some of the ones that we've seen before. We're getting a bit more about Captain Pike, his on-again, off-again love interest. It's actually quite interesting. A bit more about Dr. M'Benga, and also we're getting a bit about Ortegas, which is nice, because I did mention a few episodes ago that we don't really know a huge amount about her, so that was nice to see. I still don't know who the navigator who normally sits next to her on the bridge is. But funnily enough, she wasn't in this episode. That was weird. Spock was there and Una was there at the navigator's station. The navigator lady wasn't there. Very odd. But it was a good episode. And a nice way where we're seeing a bit of background about the ship and previous missions. Going back to a mission that went wrong, that we haven't really seen, and then dealing with the consequences of that. So I really liked this, because it feels more like a traditional Star Trek episode. We've seen in the original series several times, we go to a planet where a Federation person has really messed up and violated the Prime Directive. So that was nice to see that sort of idea is coming back. There's a lot of space where basically the Federation is flying around, but they don't know what's going on. And people are taking advantage of that and morphing things to suit their own ends. So it's nice to see that we are embracing the time that this series is actually set in and seeing some of what we saw from the last series that was set in this timeline. So that's great. I really enjoyed that part of it. It was also interesting to see what the characters are. It's essentially it's this thing in TV tropes and a few other things called what you do in the dark, where because your character doesn't know who they are, it's all about how they are as a person and deep inside, to see what goes on and how they react to things. That's literally said at one point. So it's not like I'm overanalyzing anything here, but that's literally what this was about. And it was really nice to see that, especially the realization that that's essentially what it is. As episodes go, fairly linear, and setting it in two different places on the planet and on the ship, that kind of worked out, but I would have liked to have seen more of what was happening on the ship as well, although there is only so much time. So it would have, if to do that, you would have taken away from the more deep character introspective bits that were on the planet and things like that. So I can see why they made the decision to don't only stick with a couple of people rather than the ship. It was an interesting idea. Like I say, great to see all of that stuff about really mixing in with the setting. That was wonderful. Mr. Spock had a great bit. I have to mention this, where he says to someone, "Oh, you're feeling the same cranial issues that I am," and he's just stood there, completely stoic. It's like, so the other person is going, "Ah, my head, ah," writhing in pain, and Spock is saying, "Ah, you've got the same pain I have," but there's like blank. That was so Mr. Spock. That was so good. "Captain, I am in excruciating pain." It's like, it's nothing. Love it. Little bits like that. It's like, yes, they understand. They understand Spock and how he is. That is great. It was a very good episode. Was it as good as last week's? No, of course not. But very few things are going to be. When you have the Prime episode so far, things aren't going to quite meet up to that. But it was very good. It was a nice character piece. Fit well with the time. Fit well with the characters. Yeah. Just exploring Strange New Worlds and dealing with the consequences of having gone in without really understanding what's going on. I did also like one bit they put in as almost a throwaway line. "We went down in uniforms last time. We won't make that mistake again." Like, yes! You're exploring new worlds. You know there's a civilization there. You're not supposed to try and change things. You're not supposed to be violating the Prime Directive. So why does every single Star Trek crew beam down in uniform to a planet where there's a civilization they haven't met before that isn't as technologically developed? If they're as technologically developed, yeah, show up in your uniform, that's fine. But everyone else, try and do a disguise. Kirk and Spock did it. Picard and Riker did it. Janeway, Cisco, they all do it. Finally, we get it mentioned. Like, we're not going to make that mistake this time. Yeah. It was also a nice character piece which led directly off from that with Ortegas, where it's like, I finally get to leave the ship. I'm not flying the ship today. I'm going to go and join the away team. Hooray! So she gets really into it, puts the hat on from the disguise, and everyone takes the mick. And then she says, well, no, the hat's stylish. And then gets told she can't go on the mission anymore because something's changed. I felt for her at that point. It's like, oh, she was the one that was looking forward to this. Everyone else doesn't want to go. So, yeah, we got some proper characterization. This is exactly what Star Trek's supposed to be. Ensemble cast, where we actually get to learn more about the characters. Not just a couple of main ones, like the writer's favourites or the main crew or something like that. Proper TNG era ensemble cast, where we actually get to learn about people. That's exactly what I want from Star Trek. This show is now providing that. I'm very happy. But what's the warp score? Well, I would say, given everything, a solid 8 out of 10. So, Helm, Warp 8, engage. There's no one there. I'm just talking to a shelf. Take care, guys. Have a great day. I've certainly enjoyed it. I hope you have too. Do leave a comment if you agree or disagree, because it's always nice to have a conversation. But until next time, I've been Zoe Kirk-Robinson. You've been watching TrekHammer. Live long and prosper. I'll see you next time. If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe Kirk-Robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Sam Yates, Retro Mickey 82, Mo Henry, and George Botterini. Thank you so much, guys.